Hey guys, you got Crave here with an update or a follow-up to the Assassination Rogue guide I did. Now, I also did a follow-up upload about a week after publishing the Assassination Rogue guide, which actually touched on the Agonizing build and saying that it was a really good build. It's just that I never really got into details with it. Now, you can check that follow-up video by clicking that little upload or video you're seeing on the upper right part of your screen. I do understand that a lot of high-end rogues are into the AP build, and that's understandable. But the rogue guide I really did was meant for Exsanguinate, and it's a build that I maintain to this day for three reasons. Now, the first one is that it's really just my preferred playstyle. I really like the burst output during Exsanguinate windows, so it really helps in swaps, but I guess the other reason is that I don't have the gear for it. Since I do prefer Exsanguinate, I haven't really stocked up on Mastery gear, and even if I push through with enchants and stuff, I don't really get to break 100%. So the highest I can achieve as of this video with just simply enchants is around 80%. Now, the second reason is that while it isn't optimal, it's not exactly at the level where it isn't viable. It does pretty well in meters from what I've observed. Now, if it does cause my damage output at the end of fights to tank, then I would, of course, in a heartbeat, switch over to AP, as I really wouldn't be helping the groups I'm joining with. Now, the third reason is that I do not do really progression content. I'd like to. I'd like to be able to do progression content, but were it not for schedules, family, and other games to play. And with that, I guess I'm not required to sacrifice what I prefer. So those are my three reasons why I created the guide, even though I already heard or saw, or basically just saw some AP builds being really successful. Now, since this video is about comparing the AP build to the Exsanguinate build, let's look at some numbers. Now, the numbers will show differences in burst and a lengthier time sitting on a target. Now, my disclaimers are that is that I don't really have a whole lot of mastery on me, as I mentioned earlier. And that's really important for an AP build, but you can already see the difference here. And really, the difference will matter a whole lot in progression content, but not in casual content. So I just have to remind you of that. As you progress in gear, level, and mastery, then the AP build will really be strong. Now, as you can see right now, the differences, there is the burst window number and the sustain window number. It's a range. I did a couple, around 3 or 4 tries for each build. Of course, I didn't forget to coat my weapons with the correct poison. But yeah, there are things to consider like crit, blood and bag procs, the latency that I had at the time while I was recording it, and yeah. So those are the things to consider. But right now, you can already see that AP is good, very good with sustain, and decent at burst. While of course, it's expected that Exsanguinate is really good with burst, but decent with sustain. So I haven't really played a whole lot with the AP build, and given that I have pretty low mastery, I won't really get into it. But if you do want an AP build, just based on what I think might be good for the build, then I would suggest these talents. So it's Elaborate Planning or Master Poisoner. But I would suggest that maybe for the start, if you're starting out with an AP build and your mastery isn't all that high, then Elaborate might be good. Next is Night Stalker, Deeper Strat for your third talent. Or Vigor if it's your first time. Energy management can be an issue sometimes. Of course, for your fourth row, it should be, well, just Cheat Death. And Prey on the Weak or Thuggy. I would prefer Prey on the Weak, mainly because if everyone focus fires on a mob that you can stun, then it's going to work really well. And the next talent is, well, of course, Agonizing Poison. And the last talent is still Venom Rush. Now, one more thing I want to, or actually two more things I want to mention. The first one is that the rotation for the Agonizing Poison build will be similar to what I outlined in my Assassination Rogue guide. Now, I'm putting it right here with the corrections mainly because I made an error to the rotation that I did for that guide. So here is the corrected version. It won't really matter. It's just a matter of inserting Exsanguinate if you are on the Exsanguinate build. And the second thing I want to mention is that someone also mentioned or asked about the elaborate planning, or why I didn't put more detail into how you should actually use elaborate planning. So the thing about the EP buff is that you keep it up via Envenom. Now, in terms of keeping up elaborate planning, it won't really matter if you get a full CP Envenom. or basically what you want to do is to make sure that the elaborate planning buff is up all the time unless you're about to refresh rupture, which you will want to make sure that you refresh rupture with a full CP. And yeah, so I just wanted to get those two things out of the way. And that's it for this short video on, well, it's a follow-up video to the Assassination Rogue guide I did, and it really answers the question why I went Exsanguinate over AP, even though AP was doing really well by the time I published that guide. And the second thing is, it's also a suggestion on, well, the challenge you can do, or you can pick for an AP build, but just remember, I'm pretty much torn on the row 1 talents, which is Elaborate and Master Poisoner, so I'm not sure which is best, really. I'm guessing if I had a higher amount of mastery, it is possible that Master Poisoner might come out on top, or a better pick, but yeah, since I'm limited by gear, I'm confused with row 1. But anyway, I'm sure if you have access to better gear or higher levels of mastery, you can test it out for yourself. And yeah, so I hope this this short video was useful for you guys. And if you have any comments or questions, just leave them down in the comment section below. I would appreciate any help from those rogues who've been really deep into the agonizing poison build, or who has enough mastery to back it up. Just leave your comments down below. Thanks for watching.